I try to be dumb, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Too smart for that. And you should be smarter than that too. But anyway, how's everybody doing today? What's going on Instagram? My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. And I see you're already asking questions about the topic for today. And the quick topic I wanted to address today is about a little black boy. He's a black boy. And he's a brilliant little black boy. And the little boy, his name was in front of me. Make sure I say his name because he deserves to be shouted out. His name is Caleb. Caleb, what is Caleb's last name? Okay, these pages, they scroll too fast, so it's hard to catch up here. Caleb Anderson. Caleb Anderson is 12 years old. He's from Georgia, and he just finished his first year of college, and he started his second year of college just now. And Caleb, at the age of 12, is majoring in aerospace engineering at Chattahoochee Technical College, which I think is really fascinating. He was 9 months old when he learned to sign 250 words. He eventually learned to speak and read, and he is fluent in several languages, including Spanish and Mandarin and stuff like that. At the age of 3, he qualified for Mensa. He joined at the age of 5, making him the youngest African-American boy to be accepted at that time. So he's a genius, right? He's a genius. Let's give a round of applause for this young black man and the brilliance that he exhibits. He says that later on he wants to transfer out of Chattahoochee Technical College and go to MIT or Georgia Tech. I think this is great. This is about another story that I read about a couple of other little boys about the age of 12. They both went to MIT at the age of 12. And I met one of the young brothers when he was about 27. And this young black man had, I think he got a PhD and an MD. He was very smart. And I was really enthusiastic about their achievement because as an educator, you guys know I'm a college professor. I've been a college professor for a very long time. I know that culture plays just as much a part in your success as talent. So if you're doing something like that at the age of 12, I need to meet your parents. I want to meet your parents because I can tell you, I used to be a track coach. Back in the day, I used to be a track coach in Louisville, Kentucky, where Breonna Taylor lives. Not too far from Breonna Taylor's house. I was a coach. And we coached kids from the ages of 6 to 17. And when you had the little bad kids that were out of control and the good kids that listened and paid attention and followed directions, it all made sense when you met their parents. When you met their parents, you say, okay, now I know why you're such a little jerk. Or now I know why you're so well behaved, right? Oh, he's got his mama and his daddy. Oh, that makes a difference. He got that daddy at home, so that's why he takes orders well and doesn't try to fight me every time I ask him to do something, right? So my point is to say that when I see kids like this, I personally find that they are guided by something or someone that has affected their value system. I find that when a child does something that extraordinary at an early age, whether they can do math and science at a collegiate level or they know how to twerk like Cardi B, it usually connects to something their parents are doing at home, something that their mother and their father have pushed on them in terms of value systems, something about what they're putting in their brain every day that leads them to say, hey, it's more important to learn how to twerk than it is to learn how to do math. Or something that says, hey, I think I'd rather learn how to read than dribble a basketball, right? So let me just give a shout out to the parents, and let me give a shout out to all the parents out here that are doing great things with their kids, because these aren't the only ones. There are many others. Now, as I move forward, do me a favor. If you're watching online, please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button. If you have not hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button, please do that. Make sure you subscribe to the Black Financial Channel. It's Black owned. We talk about financial topics, and we cover a lot of things media does not cover. And also, I want to ask you, please don't make fun of me because I am in the middle of pursuing my dental health, and I'm trying to do stuff with my teeth. And what it does is it makes it a little bit hard to talk for a while. So sometimes I might sound just a little bit like Daffy Duck, just a little bit like Daffy Duck. So if somebody comes into the live and they say, Boyce looks different. What's going on with Boyce's teeth? I don't understand. Why is Boyce talking different? Just tell them, please focus, pay attention. Pay attention to the topic. Let's not get distracted here. He's talking about this over here and you over here. That's minor stuff. You need to focus on the major stuff, right? So, for example, I was reading Powernomics the other day. I read Powernomics almost every day now. We're getting ready for the master class that starts on the 15th. And Dr. Claude Anderson, he argues that one of the reasons, I talked to him today, by the way, he told me to tell you hello. One of the things that he argues in this book is that black people don't get ahead because we focus on the tiny stuff and we don't pay attention to the bigger stuff. So I'm trying to talk to you guys about the bigger picture. My teeth and what's going on with my mouth is the tiny picture. So if they bring it up, just somebody help them out, help them focus so we can focus on the big stuff and get better. Agreed? Agreed. All right. So moving forward, here's the thing I want to leave you with on this topic. Little Caleb, if you're watching, man, congratulations, brother. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. Here's the thing I want you to realize is this. Not every black child is as smart as Caleb. But we got millions of little children that are absolute geniuses. We got millions of kids that could do damn near anything if you put them in the right situation with the right encouragement and push them in the right direction. Right? We got millions of kids that can do amazing, amazing things. They show it every day. Whether you got the kid that is excelling in math and science, or the kid that learns how to rap like a grown-up when he's 5 years old, or the kid who's reading, books this thick, to the kid who can twerk it and drop it like it's hot, who knows how to ride a stripper pole when she's like 4, right? Like all that takes genius. You have to be smart to do these things. And what happens with the black community, in my opinion, is that many of us waste our greatest geniuses in some of our families. We waste our geniuses in a couple of ways. One, we let them get really good at all the things that don't matter. Like being able to twerk really well, it might make you some money in the strip club one day for sure, but it's probably not going to really help you become a better mother and have a better life, right? It's just not. It's just, no disrespect, but that's just what it is, right? Or knowing how to dribble a basketball is probably not going to work either, right? Because you're being fed the illusion. The illusion is that you see all these black men on TV that are professional basketball players, so they don't show you all the 10 million little boys all thinking, I get to be just like that guy on TV. They don't show you all the guys that didn't make it. They don't show you the graveyard of dead dreams of millions of little black boys who all swore, who dedicated their lives to making it to the NBA because it looks easy, because you look on TV and there's like hundreds of these guys on TV. They don't show you all the guys who tried to make it, who didn't make it. You're going to see something depressing. Watch these documentaries they show about these NBA tryout camps where the majority of the players don't make it, but they've dedicated their entire lives to playing the sport. Never learn how to read, but learn how to play basketball really well. Can't do math for nothing, but they know how. They got a hell of a crossover dribble, right? That's a waste of talent. That is $1 trillion. That is $1 trillion in black wealth. $1 trillion in what they call human capital. $1 trillion in black wealth is thrown down the drain every year from millions of kids that are raised to use their genius on things that do not matter. 99.9% of all basketball playing black boys will never make a penny playing basketball. 99.9% of those black boys will never make a penny playing basketball. So here's what I said to Ice Cube the other day. We were talking. Ice Cube and I are two grown black men, almost 50 years old. We done been through some things. We done seen some things. We got friends in prison. We know guys that are just like us who got killed or went to the penitentiary or whatever, right? So we feel like, we were blessed in certain ways, so we just want to support and give back. And I said, imagine if you took all that $1 trillion a year and wasted black human capital. And imagine if you convinced us to change the culture. Remember, we're talking about Caleb and culture. He could not succeed if his mama had just had him learn how to be a great athlete and never taught him anything academically. He'd be really smart still, but he'd be applying that brain to doing things that don't matter, right? Instead, he's doing aerospace engineering, which I think is pretty cool. And so I said, imagine if we got millions of black families to shift the culture so that when we get a little black genius in our family, we don't let that genius go to waste. We nurture that genius. We guide that genius. We guide that child toward things that are going to empower him or her long-term in their life. We guide them to things like owning businesses. We guide them to things like investing. We guide them to things like owning real estate, so they become geniuses at real estate acquisition, where they can go out and take $100,000 and flip it into 10 million in about 3 years. Like, imagine if we did that. That would literally lead to a massive, massive wealth transfer for the black community. A lot of the reason that your wealth is low and declining is not just because you don't have any wealth. It's not just because they took all your wealth. It's because you're giving away a lot of your wealth to the tune of at least $1 trillion a year. And I'm not even talking about the 1.3 trillion in income that we make every year, most of which goes out the window. I'm talking about the invisible 1.5234 trillion a year that's thrown away due to lost potential. The word poor, P-O-O-R, stands for passing over opportunities repeatedly. Passing over opportunities repeatedly. That is what we call in economics, we call that a shadow cost. A shadow cost is where you lost money, but because you can't even see the whole court, you don't even realize what you lost. You missed an opportunity and you didn't even know that the opportunity was there, so you think that you broke even, when really you didn't break even, you had a loss, a big old loss. So a lot of us have losses and don't even know we have losses. We have little Calebs who could have become the next Mark Zuckerberg and built a $100 billion, $200 billion company, but instead they went off and were looking for a job for the white man because their family never ever taught them how to start a business, right? Little Calebs don't need to be employees. Little Calebs are supposed to be the next Elon Musk, building rocket ships to Mars and making $100 billion in the process, right? Little Calebs are not supposed to be job seekers. They're supposed to be job creators. But what we do is we train the majority of our kids to become job seekers, so they never scale their greatness, so their greatness becomes minimized. It's like I have enough food in my house where I could feed 10,000 people, but instead I feed 4, right? So there's 4 people who got a really good, really healthy meal when I could have fed 10,000, right? So what I would say is that, here's the deal. Here's where I'm going to get to. I'm going to close it down on this. We have a kid in our house who's not quite like a Caleb. I mean, what kid is like that? I mean, 12 years old going to MIT. I'm so proud of the boy. If I met him, I'd give him a hug because that's not my dream. I would love, I wish I could be my own dad. I wish I could go back in time and push myself to do some of the things that he's doing because I would have loved that. I love the idea of excelling at that age. I just didn't have anybody guiding me to do anything great. I was just supposed to just be an 11-year-old. But if I'd had somebody that forced me to focus and got me to go to college at the age of 12 or 13 or 14, I would have ate that up. Right, some of your kids would eat that up. Our kids, unfortunately, it's a tough sell. But we got a smart kid in the house. He's 17. He's about to go to college. He's good at engineering. He goes to a great school. And he talks about, certain fields. And when they go there, they're like, oh, well, go into this field. There are great jobs in that field. And then I whisper to him, I say, yeah, there are good jobs. But you do know that if you want to make real money, you should have your own business. Oh, we'll go into this field because the starting salaries are $100,000 a year. And I'm like, yeah, but I know some entrepreneurs who hustled and learned how to really make money, who are making $100,000 a month. Yeah, go over here, and if you go into this field and get a master's degree after 6 years, you can make X amount of dollars. I'm like, yeah, but really, if you want to make the real money, here's what you do. You do what Steve Jobs did, and you don't necessarily have to know how to program the computer. You just learn how to sell the computer, and then you hire programmers that will come and work for a salary, and then you get to keep the profit, which will be in the millions of dollars, right? So I'm whispering these things in his ear because I think that we need to whisper the game to our kids, right? We need to find our little Calebs who have all that potential and all that genius and say, yeah, I know that the world is telling you that a black boy is supposed to be a football player, basketball player, or a rapper, but guess what? There are so many other opportunities that go far beyond that. I know everybody's telling you that the goal in life is to find the best job that a white man can offer, get the best that white people have to give, but maybe there's something that's even better in terms of what black people have to give. I'm going to use myself as an example, and then I'm going to shut it down. When I grew up, when I went to school, I had a dream. And when I go back and I think about that young man at 18, 19 years old, he was 18. His name was Boyce Watkins. He was 18 years old. He had a baby on the way. He had a baby his freshman year of college. He was scared to death. He didn't have a lot of confidence and self-esteem. He had just found himself. He started to just realize what his potential was academically. His dream was, he thought his dream was big. His dream was to go to school, make good grades, and get an amazing job one day and make a lot of money and get white people to really love him and tell him how great he was and all this other stuff. And I look back and I wish I had a time machine like Star Trek where I could go back and talk to the kid, talk to that 18-year-old and say to him, Boyce, I know you think your dream is big, but your dream is not the dream that you really should be having right now. I'm going to tell you what happened to me, Boyce. I'm 30 years ahead of you, and God took away that dream from me. And when he took that dream, I cried like a baby. When the white man acts like he don't want you, it breaks your heart because that's all you got. All you got is the white man, because most of us are raised to be white supremacists. All of us are raised to seek opportunities from white people, seek awards from white people, seek acknowledgement from white people, seek income from white people. It's a really sad addiction that we have, but we're born with it, so it's not our fault. But when the white man walks away, we're like breaking down and falling apart. Mental health issues. We start drinking. We start getting on dope. We start doing like Jennifer Hudson did in Dreamgirls. No, 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 no way. I'm living without you. I'm staying. I'm staying. I don't want to be free. Right? That's what we do. We cry. Like, we beg them to love us. Like, you gonna love me. Black Lives Matter, right? Like we really are looking for love, right? We want these people to tell us like that we are somebody. Like you claim you dislike them, but you don't really dislike them. You're mad at them because you love them so much. You hate the fact that you love them so much. That's just what it is, right? So when they took those things away from me, when the white man blackballed me, I was in academia. I was making six figures. I thought I'd hit the mountaintop for the black man. I thought I was the man, right? I'm 31 years old, making over $100,000 a year. Ain't nothing better than this. But there was something better than this. There was something better than that. And the thing I learned in that whole experience, from the heartbreak I experienced when the white man told me he didn't want me no more, and I had to go through that sadness of saying, what is I gonna do now? Is that I found out that there is a whole universe of possibility that you can experience once you untether yourself from the gravitational pull of white supremacy. Once you untether yourself, once they eject you out of the system, right? White supremacy is like the planet. The planet has a gravitational pull. It pulls us all down. We're all connected to it. But then imagine if you get ejected. You get ejected into outer space and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Everything I know is gone now. How am I going to survive? Well, what you find is you go further and faster than you ever thought you could. So they ejected me out. They kicked me out of the system. They said, we don't want you here anymore. And I go to other white universities, and white people, they talk. They get on the phone with each other and say, oh no, you don't want nothing to do with this guy. He's too, and let me tell you this. Why do I tell this story, and why do I connect it to little Caleb and what he's doing right now? I'm not a Caleb. I'm not as smart as that kid. He's a genius. But I wasn't a stupid kid. And I'm going to just tell you, when I look back, the biggest crime that was committed against me, the biggest crime in the world that was committed against me was the crime of low expectations. Low expectations from my teachers and the low expectations I had for myself. The things that I thought represented my so-called American dream were only a fraction of the dream I experienced once I was ejected from the system and had to rebuild from scratch. Because I can just tell you like this, when I think about what I used to fantasize about, if you ask me when I was 25 or 30, like where do you want your life to be when you're in your 40s, the picture I drew, the best case scenario would have been literally about 1/5 of the life I'm living now. And I'm saying this in complete, I want to be as humble as possible. I don't like bragging about, stuff like money and all that stuff, because I don't want to get caught up in that. I don't want you to think that it's about the money, because for me, it's about the freedom. The freedom is far more valuable than the money. You get tired of the money. I'm just going to tell you the truth. At least for me, I got tired of the money. The money don't matter to me. I want to have enough, but I don't need, more money is not going to really make me do things one way or the other. When I think about the amount of money, I'll give you some examples. The amount of money that I dreamed of making in academia, I literally made about 20 times more than that when I eventually had my own business and was doing my own thing and doing other stuff. When you're a scholar, you want to be recognized for your work in your field. I've traveled and spoken all around the world. I go to countries and cities I've never been to before, where I don't know a single person in that city, and I get recognized on the street. I'm not kidding. This is real. This is just my life. This is a fact. I've been on national television probably 200 or 300 times. Most people never go on national TV once. And that's just the beginning of it all. But my point is to say, I look back and I say, God, I was dreaming the wrong dream. And what I'm saying is that in the black community, we have a lot of little children that have the same potential as this little boy Caleb, that are so brilliant and so capable, Why would you destroy that child's future by only teaching them how to go beg a mediocre white guy for a job? Why would you do that? Why would you take a giant and turn a giant into a midget? He's supposed to grow to be 8 feet tall, and you want him to be 4'3" so he can fit in and fit underneath the existing system that white folks put in place to keep the black man small. They want to keep the black man small. They want to keep the black man tiny. They want to keep the black man as a little boy. They want to keep the black man as the beta, because that's how they can control the black man. And the easiest way for the white man to control the black man is to make sure you're working for me and you're depending on me for a paycheck, and you don't have any other way to provide for yourself. And then I get to tell you what to do. I don't even have to be a racist to pull that off. I don't have to be a white supremacist to pull that off. I don't have to hate black people to pull that off. I don't have to be mean to you to pull that off. I just need to get you to buy into the system so that we do this two-person tango where I become the dealer and you become the pusher. You are the one who needs the drug. I'm the one who supplies the drug, which means that all the power goes into my favor. So at the end of the day, I just want you to really understand how many trillions of dollars we lose when we have our genius children who are meant to be billion-dollar job creators, and we turn them into $1,000 job seekers. How disempowering that is for those individuals who could create opportunities, who literally have the power to become economic gods that open doors for other people, but instead they're praying to the white Jesus to give them an opportunity. Don't do that anymore. Don't abuse your children like that anymore. Give them the power to be great. Encourage them to at least try. At least try. All right, so that's what I want to share with you guys. If you are wondering why I'm talking funny, it's because I'm taking care of my dental health. So get the hell out of here if you got some petty comments to make on that. If you do, then you should probably not even be here, because this is not a place for petty-minded people. This is a place for people that have a big vision and a big dream, and because we elevate conversations. That's why 80% of the internet I do not even want on my channel, because people are just so unfocused. Like, black people don't get ahead because some of you are like children, and it's just kind of like, come on. As black people, we can do so much better, but we got to start thinking like grown-ups as a collective. We can't get caught up in the things. Like, I'm going to give you an honest to God truth. A lot of people are asking me about whatever the latest police shooting is. I care about it. My heart goes out about it, but I'm not caught up in it, not because I don't care, but because that's not solving the problem. Having one vigil after another does not solve the problem. One hashtag after another does not solve the problem. So if you're not coming to me with something that is focused on solving the problem, I'm not really interested. I'm not here to waste my time on things that don't matter. And a lot of us focus our energy on things that drive us emotionally and get us all riled up and excited. And then you wake up and you wonder why your life is exactly the same as it was the day before. So when people are asking me about, for example, with what Trump is doing with his situation at the hospital and everything else, I was like, you know what? Did y'all notice the stock market went up? And I'm talking to my students. They're like, yeah, I made money today. I made money. I'm like, good. Now you can go feed your family with that, because you can't feed your family with gossip. You can't feed your family with drama. You can't feed your family with hashtags, but you can feed your family with that money that's in the bank. I want you to get results that you can take to the bank. I want you to get results that can benefit your family. So that's what I'm focused on, and that's what I want to talk about. And that's really me actually focusing to help, not just help you, but to help myself really elevate the conversation, because we can all get caught up in all the little things that don't matter. So let's stop majoring in the minors and start becoming major people. Let's start becoming serious people as a community, and then the world will take us seriously. So that's it, guys. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button. Thank you for hanging out with me on Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins, and also the Black Financial Channel is an Instagram if you're interested in financial topics. And don't forget that on the 15th of the month, the Powernomics Masterclass starts. So if you're interested in joining, go to powernomicsmasterclass.com. That's powernomicsmasterclass.com. I'm out of here. Congratulations, little Caleb. Very proud of you, man. Can't wait to see you do big things. Make sure that if you study engineering, that you get a minor in entrepreneurship. Because Caleb, when you go out and become successful, I don't want you to just be the fancy Negro with the fancy job with the house in the suburbs. I would love for you to be the guy who creates an Elon Musk level opportunity where, like Elon Musk, you're employing tens of thousands of your people. Or like a Jeff Bezos, who also was a tech genius. You're not just some guy who's sitting with a nice little office with a nice little job. You're employing hundreds of thousands of people. I think Jeff Bezos employs 1.5 million people. We need Bezoses. We need black Elon Musks. We need black Mark Zuckerbergs. We don't need more black people who major in engineering and get a good job working at IBM. No disrespect to anybody who does that, but I argue that perhaps there is more that you can do, but you just gotta think big. Think big, think big. Our baddest, our brightest, our smartest must be our biggest in terms of what the scope of the vision is. So you cannot just do something that benefits you. You can be the Moses that carries millions of your people to the economic promised land. I'll use myself as a quick example. Not that I'm anybody special, but guess what? Think about this. Imagine if I was a guy who sat around at Syracuse University in a little office teaching 30 students a year and didn't do any of the stuff that I do now. Let's say that I didn't want to go out in public. I didn't want to talk to anybody, and I just sat around. Well, guess what? I'd be impacting 30 people a year, mostly white. Instead, every day I'm talking to you on platforms that have hundreds of thousands of black people on them. I talk to over a couple million black people a month. And the difference was that back then I thought small. Now I want to think big. Now I'm thinking, how do I take what's in this brain and make sure that it is absorbed by millions and millions and millions of people? And we are doing that, and that's why you're here. That's why you're listening to this conversation now, and that is the idea. That's what I want. I want more people who want to help the world to get a chance to absorb whatever greatness that you have inside of you that allowed you to be great, because it's not just about one person, it's about the masses. So same thing is true with social justice issues. Let's forget about these one-off, one-person symbolic matters and think about things that are systematic and broad that affect hundreds of thousands or millions of people, because that's how they enslaved you in the first place. They weren't saying, let's enslave one black person at a time, let's enslave 2 Negroes. No, they said, how do we create a broad system that will allow us to enslave millions of black people? Well, the same thing must be true for your liberation. You cannot liberate 1 or 2 people at a time, whether you're Donald Trump, who let out that one lady and put it on TV, or you're Joe Biden and you got one hashtag of one police shooting. No, that's not going to do it. What's going to do it is when we're doing something that's affecting hundreds of thousands of people, and that's where solutions come from. So everything else is just symbolism, it's emotionality, it's people getting caught up in the moment, and those things don't make a bit of difference at all. So I want everybody in here to think big. So I want you to write the word big in the chat. Write big in the chat. Forget about the people that are making stupid comments. I think I saw a silly comment in there. People like that are not the ones I'm talking to. I'm talking to the people who want to think big. So write the word big in the chat. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to aim big, think big, be big, teach your kids to be big, teach them to shoot for the stars, and that's what's going to make our community great. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button. Also, in case you don't know, we have a Black Business School for children in the Black Business School. It's called Black Millionaires of Tomorrow. The URL is blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. So I believe one of the things I believe is that every black child should know how to start a business by the age of 12. Every black child should own stock as early as possible and receive shares of stock on a regular basis. Every black child should know the difference between being a renter and an owner and have a desire to acquire real estate. Any child who does those 3 things on a consistent basis is not going to be poor. Any child who does those 3 things on a consistent basis is not going to be in a struggle. Any child who's trained on those 3 basic ideas is not going to be some low-life, sad little Negro who's complaining because white people have his whole life in a vice grip. No, that child is going to prosper. They're going to flourish. They're going to do better than the average white person. But it's up to you as parents. It's up to us as parents to give our kids a chance. So are you please going to give your kids a chance no matter what it is? We can help you, but it doesn't matter if you want to help, if you want us to help you, just at least please help yourself, because part of the reason our kids are struggling today as adults is because nobody stood up for them when they were kids. Nobody prepared them for life when they were children. Nobody helped them have the skills they need to survive now. So now they're 28 years old and they don't know what to do. Don't let that happen. to your child, that is going to only make them into a slave. And then it's not just the white man's fault, it's also your fault, because again, like I proved to you earlier before, a lot of us are white supremacists. We're deeply committed to this idea of black victimhood. I'm not committed to that at all. I believe that if you don't want to be a victim, you don't have to be a victim. That choice, part of that choice, a big chunk of that choice does belong to you. So don't be a victim. Think big, be great, go do your thing. I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. Thank you for listening. I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.